interesting things happening around XRP and the LBRY case with John Deaton playing intermediary. Well, and this may play out for XRP around the SEC and whether or not the secondary market implementation of these securities is real. This is going to be an interesting one. You need to follow along here. It's going to be one that I think you guys are going to like. My name is Paul Barron. Welcome back into Tech Path. So you guys have seen John Deaton on our show many times. John's been on our show covering the XRP case. He, of course, represents all the XRP holders that are representing a class action suit against the SEC, filed an amicus brief with the court, now a representation, obviously following XRP's case along significantly. This article, XRP lawyer, this is John Deaton, scores a crucial victory for Ripple and crypto. This is an interesting thing that happened. I'll play you a clip of what John was talking about. But yesterday's appeal hearing sought an affirmation this was from the New Hampshire District Court, issuing the broad, vague injunction against the sale of LBRY's token, in which the token itself becomes a security, bringing secondary market sales under the SEC. So we all know the SEC wanted to have maximum law enforcement. He basically looked over, and this was something that was intriguing, because when you hear this, you think, all right, well, if the act of creating the token was the infraction that LBRY did, the actual token itself was not in essence a security, which is what it boiled down to of why it didn't fall into the SEC's guise of covering it in the secondary market. So it opened the door for the SEC to move closer to its goal for letting legitimacy through ruling and regulatory oversight versus in the secondary market as well. So this is another thing that could also play in the SEC's benefit, but also in the way of which we will be looking at least ground rules that a lot of these companies can abide by. Another thing they stated in here, the judge said if the flip side sells, this was talking about, if you own the token, it's sold, and now the person who purchased the token, they are now selling it to someone else, the secondary market, independent of LBRY, you have to agree that my order does not apply to this scenario, and that the victory, and that's the victory that basically Deaton was able to secure from the New Hampshire judge. The SEC had to concede that, and they did it on record in real time. This is insane how this was applied. I don't know if they can go back and contest that at some point, but anyway, remarkably, the judge turned to Deaton after it and told him, said, hey, amicus, referring to Deaton, I'm going to make it clear that my order does not apply to secondary market sales. So let me play this clip because it explains, John's explaining it of where this goes. Let me get that for you.
But then I said to him, Judge, great, you're not going to give an injunction, but you still please have to address this secondary market issue. And I pointed out to him that there's so much confusion about it. And then he did something great. He basically looks over at the SEC and says, you agree, right, with him that, imagine that. I want everybody to imagine that a judge looking over at the SEC attorney saying, you agree with Deaton, right? They weren't that happy about it. But they then said, well, what if it is a particular agent of the person? And then it could be, and the judge said, you got to make a commitment. And the judge did something great. He said, let's use an example. And he said, LBRY sold to an investment club who took the LBC and put it in cold storage, a direct sell. The judge said, I found that to be an unregistered securities offering. And you agree with me, right, SEC? And they go, yes. Then the judge said, but if Flipside sells it to someone else in the secondary market, independent of LBRY, you got to agree that that's not, my order doesn't apply to that scenario. And that's the victory that we got. The SEC had to concede that on the record in real time. So
interesting point here, because he noticed he's talking about the sale of that security as opposed to just the scenario playing into this of the actual token being a security. So that may be the application when it goes into a secondary market, but the fact that the SEC agreed to this, or on record, could play into a very good position for where this may play out for XRP. Here was Eleanor Terrett, the Fox reporter, talking about if the judge rules that secondary market transactions of LBC by people unaffiliated had no investment intent with LBRY are illegal, then it could set a precedent that would be favorable toward XRP users. So again, back to the whole potential here for what Deaton was able to do. Here was Deaton saying, I agree, if there was ever a utility token, it's the LBC, on how many professional traders or retail investors were speculating on the price action of LBC. Does it equal 10th or 100th of ETH, XRP, ADA, etc.? Professional crypto traders have never heard of LBC tokens. So this was back into the whole scenario of what this might play into, you know, from a sense of how much of an impact this is going to have on the overall market for XRP. Now, let's not forget, XRP's got a ton of activity going on right now. This is a chain and a project, meaning XRP Ripple, that continues to build. One of the things I wanted to showcase here was Q4 2022, the market report for Ripple. And look at these takeaways. Let me zoom in on these. So on-demand liquidity, Ripple's crypto-enabled cross-border payment solution, launched in France, Sweden, Africa, now available 40 payout markets. That's pretty big. And then sales by Ripple of net purchases were around 226 million versus 310 the previous quarter. So again, growth. And then you have PeerSys release the first phase of the Ethereum virtual. This is the EVM sidechain for XRPL on the DevNet, which now allows DeFi applications like Uniswap, Aave, and Compound to easily launch on XRPL, the ledger. So to me, this is just more growth. Definitely not slowing down. This is not a company or a project that looks as if they're in any kind of legal battle. I think they are in a position right now. And let's not forget, partnerships are continuing to fly. They've got this Visa partnership now going after Thailand and Australia, which are big markets. If you look at this, this is fintech out of Thailand, 3-year-old partner with Ripple, now partnered with Visa to fully integrate Visa Direct into its global payment platform. Look at this, 170 countries, light speed across Visa Now Global Payment Solutions is present in 170 countries. So if we're going to see this start to integrate into the Pacific Rim, likelihood is we're going to see this on a global perspective. So lots happening out there for sure. Last but not least, the XRP Toolkit now is supported by Web3 domain provider Unstoppable Domains. So again, you just see more expansion of Ripple moving now into Web3. I think this is one of the opportunities that we may see coming much faster. I'd love to get you guys' feedback. Do you think this case is going to settle much quicker now with some of these kind of revelations that are happening from other courts that are starting to set precedents in how XRP may be deemed in reference to security and not a security, and how the XRP holders are going to be handling it? Who do you think also is going to list XRP first? Who's going to be the race car that jumps into this? Because once they come in, we are going to see an onslaught of XRP traffic and transactions. Probably either Coinbase, maybe Robinhood. There's a handful. Maybe Binance gets into this. Love to get your feedback. Drop some comments down below. If you guys are not joined into the Diamond Circle, get in now. We got a lot of new stuff happening over there. New audio, new podcast, new custom-only content for our members in the Diamond Circle. Click the link below to get into that. It's absolutely free to get in there and join. And of course, if you're not following me, get out there on Twitter. It's @PaulBaron. We'll catch you next time right here on TechPath.